Tuesday, August 19th, 2025. I'm Larissa. It's my fat old bitch diary. Ugh, you see this on my nose? See it? Ugh. So the other day for dinner, I made deconstructed sushi. Why? What do I mean by this? Well, don't worry. I'm gonna get to yesterday. I am. So I made this deconstructed sushi, and Omar had picked up these seaweed snacks, right? And I thought, oh, it won't be fun to kind of use these and whatever, right? Instead of getting full-size sheets of nori and actually rolling it, which I've never actually done before, right? Anyway, so I thought I'd do something a little different, like make a salad and would have this side of sushi rice with these little nori snacks. So I made the sushi rice and I prepped all of the other stuff. So I sliced down green onions and a cucumber, and I cut up a big brick of tofu, super, super firm tofu, right? And fried it so that they were, little stiff, kind of, you've had fried tofu. And then radishes and avocado. And so I placed all of these things, on a plate, right? All the avocado and all the vegetables, the salad stuff, right? Things that would go in the middle of the sushi. And then I put the sushi rice that I made, I pressed it into a cup form that was a little bit oiled, and so it would pop out, not stick to the inside of the plastic cup form. Like when you get couscous served, and it's in that little like cone shape in the middle of the plate kind of thing. So put that off to the side, and then put the nori snacks, the seaweed, and they were teriyaki flavored, right? So it's like everything that you would have if you were going to have sushi rolls. Like it was like a vegetarian sushi roll, but it was deconstructed. It was like a salad. And then I made a sauce. A dipping sauce, like a salad dressing, right? That was on the side, and so you could dip all your stuff in it and eat it. And it was good, and it was fun. And but the nori snacks, whatever, there was some preservative on these nori snacks, made my face itch. And I know it was those nori snacks because while I was doing the prep work, I ate a package of them, right? So there was a package, a package which was like a serving size. And these are like thinner than paper, right? Like seaweed. I'm talking about eating seaweed because I've been craving iodine. And so I ate a package of them and my face was starting to itch, but I didn't know, like it wasn't real bad. Well, by the time we sat down to dinner, and it's always when it's some sort of preservative, I get this itching on my nose. And it was like, my nose was like, it's so wild. MSG does it. Red number 40 does it. And I don't think there's red number 40. It was probably MSG. Probably MSG that was in the teriyaki flavoring on the seaweed. Although I have in the past also had reaction to seaweed. So like there's these vegan products that use agar agar, which is a seaweed extract, and I can't have agar agar. Agar agar makes me aggro and makes my face blister and my tongue blister, right? So I don't know. I don't know if maybe this was a different kind of seaweed, if it wasn't actually nori, right? I don't know, or if it was just there was preservative that was in flavoring, artificial flavoring that was on the seaweed snack. But I was kind of surprised because we got it at Staff of Life. We got them at Staff of Life, and they're usually pretty good about allergens and stuff. But there's still stuff, who knows? Who knows? But that's what this is. That's what this is. My nose blistered and it was all itchy. Those seaweed snacks. Because everything that was in the sauce I made, I use regularly in cooking, right? There's no reason I've never had any reaction to that. No, it was mayonnaise and soy. I mixed mayonnaise, soy sauce, um, fermented garlic sauce, um, a little bit of miso paste, and what else? There was something else. Mirin, a little bit of mirin. I mixed all that together, made like a dressing. If I had had any fresh ginger, I would have ground it because that would have made the dressing. That would have like topped off the dressing. Would have really like pushed that dressing over the flavor profile edge. Yeah, so we had that for dinner and then made my face itch. Oh, yesterday just made me sick to my stomach. I couldn't even eat hardly. Watching everything and listening to everything and ugh. Ugh. It all just really, really, really. Omar and I talked about it last night, and like it is good to see such solidarity and unity among European leaders, right? Like that is such a positive thing, and that's something that's very different um, in comparison to World War II. And just kind of commenting in this way on the comments of the Finnish prime minister or president. I'm sorry, I'm not. I don't remember what your government structure is in which you are. The gentleman from Finland who talked about their 800-mile border with Russia and the lessons that their country has taken from history in World War II, and that mistakes would not be made. Same mistakes from then would not be made now, and that kind of thing. I mean, that was some strong language, especially for a Scandinavian. That was some strong language. I was like, wow, wow, sir, you have the biggest stick pony. The biggest stick pony I've ever seen a Finn ride. Anyway, really, I mean, that's like a hopeful thing for humanity kind of thing, to see that kind of solidarity among among leaders. Um, but the fact that it's having to happen under these contexts and these circumstances is not a good sign for the globe, right? And watching the comments of people online, because of course I was watching online on live feeds from different places, and it's just like the stuff that people were commenting on is so obnoxious. I just made ridiculous jokes. I made some ridiculous jokes because the level of intellect of the majority of the comments that were being made, ugh, it's like it's no wonder discourse is at such an all-time low between individuals in just in an average setting. And I directly I hold I hold technology responsible for this and the insidious nature of the encroachment of technology into our day-to-day life. And yes, I hold resentment against technology and the way technology is researched and tested and it's every bit as bad as doing dropping chemical warfare on populations. Like, it has destroyed the ability to communicate with any kind of security or trust or between people. And case in point, it's just like, this conversation that I think I had with my father via text. But I can't be sure that it was my father because of the ability of third parties to manipulate um, things with whether it's with AI or hacking or whatever. I've had too many tech experiences, text, stuff being stolen out of my computer, um, my email, just all of these things. They're just too manipulatable without there being a real trail of evidence, right? Provable evidence. And that's just a personal, that's just my personal experience. And there's so many other levels to it, you know, children or young people or older people who don't have that kind of awareness about technology, right? And or children who have no experience of any other way of communication. And there's just so much information that's lost when you're not actually having a conversation with someone. Like, there for a while, I was getting a lot of comments asking me if I was AI generated, if I was a bot, right? Because there was a genre of bot videos that were similar to my diary, because people are hungry for intimacy or genuine communication, right? And I was for a short time on Blue Sky, and there was no, oh, the bots were rampant. I was getting contacted by men left and right, but a lot of them I think were bots. And there was one I was pretty sure it was interesting. It was interesting that the way it was being marketed to me. So it was like this very, very, the image was of this very, very handsome man, right? And he was supposedly a doctor, and, like, all of these things. It was like a fantasy. It was like a softcore porn kind of thing, right? Without nudity, right? It was like this. Oh, how are we going to attract a middle-aged woman, and whatever. And so he kept on this thing kept sending me message DMs, and any of the men that were DMing me in that way, and I was getting that vibe off of. I was like, I'm not interested. Not what I'm here for. I'm not here for dating. I'm not here for dating. I'm not here for dating. And because it was for my business. I was trying to promote my business. Um, so I was curious. I got curious about this one because it was really, the conversation was really thick, like laying it on thick, like, oh, I really liked what you said about blah blah blah. Oh, it was like super over the top complimentary. And my email address, my business email address, because it was my business account, was posted, it was public. He said, can I, how can I contact you? Can I call you? I'm like, no. I said, but if you're, if you're interested in my services and in making an appointment, you can email me. My email's posted, blah, blah, blah. So I get an email from this thing. Well, I could tell I said a couple things that were just like, it was asking me questions. And, I said something like, it said it was some sort of doctor, and I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't a foot doctor, right? It was something else, and so I was like, oh, it must be really interesting to be a foot doctor. So it was like, I would it was a cognitive dissonance, right? Because I wanted to see how it would respond. Well, after that, it responded back with that I am a chatbot, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I figured you were. I'm like, don't contact me again. Like, right? It's so. I mean, it's just like insidious. It's insidious. You have no idea. People would have no idea. Like, it was really smooth. It was really interesting, right? So like when you're texting back and forth, like, you don't necessarily know who the hell or what the hell you're talking to. And it causes so much problem. It causes so much problem. It causes so much problem. Oh, so yesterday, watching all of this and the conversation in the live chat kind of thing, I, oh, just it upset my stomach. Like it just was really. I was like, oh my god. And then listening to uh, Trump talk, I just, uh, it's awful, just awful. And I'm sorry, like, yeah, sure, that's real nice lip service and everything, Melania writing a letter to Putin, whatever. But does the media want us to act like this is the first time somebody's ever written a letter to anybody? Well, maybe in this day and age, there aren't that many people writing letters. I still write letters, right? But it's just like, okay, so she's writing to Putin about these Ukrainian children. I don't believe that Melania Trump gives a shit about these Ukrainian children, right? Like, what's the difference between the Ukrainian children and I think it's horrible, like, about children being abducted, right? Like, my work I've done in my life, volunteer work and all kinds of other work that I've done has been working with trafficked youth and disenfranchised youth. Like, that's my, I kind of have that in my back pocket as experience. So, like, but why is she waiting now? Why she wait till now to write such a letter? Why is it the Ukrainian children and not the children that are being starved and slaughtered in Gaza? And why wasn't she down in Texas after the flooding? And why hasn't she spoken out about her husband moving Ghislaine Maxwell to a low security prison where the prisoners are revolting because since it's low security, they have more access to their children. So that he has sent this woman who is a convicted sex trafficker to a prison where she has exposure, where she can be exposed, or children can be exposed to her. And, when it comes to traffickers, she doesn't need to talk to them. She just needs to see them, to see who friends of hers might be interested in. And and when you're in prison, you can still you can still have contact with the outside, particularly if you're in a low security place. Right? Like stories of mobsters running shit from the inside is not far-fetched. These are things that have happened, right? Like, there's historical precedents for such things happening. So how are European leaders, Ukrainians, anybody supposed to take Putin, for that matter, supposed to take her seriously? It is nothing but posturing. Posturing. It is political posturing. Meanwhile, in states like Georgia, there are women who are brain dead women who have been kept alive as meat bag incubators for fetuses. Like, so what kind of effect do you think that has on a child growing, a fetus growing and developing inside of a dead body, right? There is interaction between fetus and mother, particularly the closer to the 9-month mark, hearing voice, parents' voices and all that shit, all the studies that have been done about like reading to your baby in utero. Come on. But you have you're saying you care about the baby. You're going to let it grow, this fetus grow inside of a dead meat bag? What about that woman? Like, I can't take her seriously about anything. She decorates a nice Christmas tree. Oh, your Christmas decorations always look beautiful, Melania. They do. Very, very pretty. Stick to it. Because nobody can take you or your husband seriously on anything. Oh. Oh. And that asshole reporter, I mean, all the talk about Zelensky's clothes, just pure stupidity. Pure stupidity. Pure stupidity. Truly stupidity. I made a bunch of jokes about that. I was going to wear a suit. I said, oh, baby, where's birthday suit? God. I thought, oh, maybe all the European leaders are going to show up in their birthday suit and they're going to all sit down together and have a sitz bath. Oh, my God. That's the mentality. That is the mentality of the average American? Is that what it is? Jeez. We're talking about world leaders here, not idiot athletes. I know, not all athletes are idiots. But my point is, these are people running the world, not people being paid to play a game. Jeez. Just... Anyway. So I didn't end up actually going into the office yesterday. I didn't actually go into the gallery yesterday. It was just the whole thing. So today I'll get into work, I suppose. Yeah. Finish my coffee here. I already drank my Skull. I have a new batch of tea. And I'd say it's 50% mint. 50% of the volume is mint. I'd say a quarter of the volume is CBD dominant indica strain. It's a salad of a couple different strains. And then elderflower, a pinch of slippery elm, and what else did I put in? And rose hips. So that's what's in the new batch of tea. And it's good. It was really good. It was good. It felt good. My body was like, oh, that feels really good. Yeah. And now I'm having a cup of coffee. Yeah. Prime Minister Melania, I love your expressions. And I love how the media has been covering your expressions. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I'm sorry to laugh because none of it's a laughing matter. None of it is, but oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway.